Hello everyone, my name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trinergy Awakens Naturally. I'm going to give you just a brief update for anybody that's following on in the life of a recently divorced woman who is mid-career and out of here. I'm turning 53 this year and went through a divorce and lost everything. So this is the resurrection story of what happens when you go Phoenix down to the ground and you figure out how to work that out, or you die. You cry and you die and you give up. Well, I don't have that setting apparently because I'm still here, and I am going tomorrow. I'm working on my next plan of where divinity is taking me, and I don't want to divulge my plan just yet. However, I'm putting it out there that we don't always know. We can be blind, and wonder, does anybody out there in outer space or in God's reception room or anywhere hear me? Am I alone? Am I crazy? Have I lost my mind? And all of those things run through my mind from time to time, and I have to keep really tamping down on that monkey mind and say, I am hearing divinity speak to me. I am held in God's hands. I have a plan and I am strong. I am capable. Even when I feel like I'm lying to myself. Even whenever I think, I think there's not really any real truth to that. I have to take the smallest nugget of proof and use that and just go with it. I'm not talking about lying to myself that, I am able to carry an elephant on my back. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about evidence throughout my life. It's a matter of what am I willing to consider evidence, proof that God, divinity, holy, sacred, is speaking to me. And I've had incredible experiences with birds and butterflies and insects and all kinds of things. Kind of a naturalist and don't really claim to be anything in particular other than I channel energy. I'm an energy healer and I'm an intuitive and an empath. So it means that I can really read energy. However, it doesn't mean that I can predict for you any better than anyone else what you will choose to do. There's energy setting up in the quantum space and it's readable as to where that's going to go, where it's headed. However, everybody has free will. Everybody has the choice to go, yeah, I'm going to go that way instead. And so the best way that I've found is to work with my synergy, which everybody has. We're all creating energy all the time with every decision, everything in our divine or outside of it. It doesn't matter. If we're in the highest frequency and in the flow or not, synergy is happening. And I really like to be on top of how am I using my energy? How am I creating synergy? And is it really a trinergy? Because my divinity working with the God frequency or the divine frequency creates a synergy that's trinergy. That's the word I've come up with, is that's trinergy. And trinergy for me is what I really want at the end. It's that frequency of synchronicity, which isn't random or flyby. It's an earned spot in my life. There might be some people who just drop into that frequency very well or ascend to it or whatever. However, I find that I really have to work hard sometimes against monkey mind, which would be very happy to have me stay back there and remember a past paradigm, an old belief, an old garbage thought of, oh, I won't be able to do that. And I have to really go through and remind myself of, take a look at that. And it doesn't happen by listening to Kate's own programming. Kate has to stand outside that briefly for longer and longer periods of time when possible, and every time that it's possible, and it's a discipline. It's like growing muscles. Not going to be able to lift a 300-pound anything the first time that you want to do your weightlifting training. It just isn't happening. Strength training, etc. We don't become an athletic superstar overnight. We can have a very natural proclivity for that, and many people do. However, even our greatest athletes didn't become gold medalists at the Olympics overnight. It takes training, and it's very easy to look at people sometimes and see they've got their gold medal, and that must have been easy for thee. And it's not easy for anyone. It's simply, I think, I don't know, I'm not a gold medalist in the Olympics. However, I think what happens is that it's easier in appearance because people that are really in their divine and really doing fine, they work hard because they really want to be. They're really digging being in competition with their own divinity of how can I perfect my skill? How can I keep going? How can I get that mountain to turn into a hill? You know, how can I get what I need to do done and have fun? Because somehow in my life, I've equated working and working hard and getting the job done as all the same thing. And what I really have found that's nicer and easier for me to do, doesn't work 100% of the time because sometimes things are just not very divine. However, what I found is an easier way to go is let's find a more a funner way to do this rather than assume that it's going to be difficult, assume that it's going to be hard, assume that it's going to be trudging uphill the mountain and just carrying loads of garbage up there with me. It really doesn't have to be that way. It's my mind, it's my perception, it's my past belief, an old paradigm, time to go, that would have me believe that I have to be slow or I have to work really hard. I have to put in the time. And I do have to put in the time. I do have to work, however, work smarter, not harder. I have a child that she used to work doing stockroom stuff, and it was extremely difficult in terms of it being hard labor, and it was very early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning or something. She would unload boxes, and she said, hey man, we work early and we work smarter. We don't work harder at 4 a.m. any more than we would at 10 a.m. We work early, not dumb. And that stuck with me when she said it, that what am I missing, man? What am I missing? Because I said, how do you do that? How do you get up and go there at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning and unload an entire truck of very heavy stuff and, stack boxes and what have you? And she said, well, Mom, we work smarter. It's early, but we work smart. And they found out ways. She was solving the puzzle. She was a teenager when she started that job. And for her, she used that as an opportunity to use her little divinity in a way that solves puzzles. And she figured, if I'm going to be doing this job, kind of a minimum wage, making a little bit more because I'm humping it hard, I'm going to figure out how to stack and rack and make that stuff work and get the job done more efficiently. And she was really good at it. Now, her most brilliant spot may not have been to be doing that job forever. She, in fact, doesn't do that job anymore. However, she brought a lot of dignity and integrity to that job because she was bringing her divinity, and she yielded and surrendered to the idea that it's hard work, as in hard physical labor. However, it doesn't have to be more difficult, and it certainly doesn't have to be harder than it should be because somebody's too lazy or too unskilled or too unwilling to yield to. You have a job, that's what it is. Why would you go hide out in the back of the stockroom and try to get somebody else to do your job? And so, we all go through our stages of wanting to kind of kick and scream and not want to take responsibility and stuff. However, I just find that the more I yield and lean into that stuff and surrender, if you will, that can be a really tricky word for some of us to surrender our will. It depends on what we're surrendering, and if we're surrendering it for the right reasons. Are we willing to surrender, or are we just doing that to, I give up? There's a very big difference. However, being a indolent teenager who's going, no, I don't want to do that, versus someone who is, I supplicate, I yield to the higher cause, versus I yield to my boss who's just really bugging me, and, and I yield and surrender by quitting the job altogether. And then I have no job, no money, and no income because I just didn't want to be told what to do. There's a very big difference. So tomorrow is a very hallmark day, quite possibly, and maybe the next day. It depends on how the schedule works out tomorrow. However, my life is changing, and I had to really work today, the last couple of days, to surrender my will and understand that divine plan has a much broader perspective and a much broader understanding than I do. And all of the dimensions, whatever you understand of God or divinity, whether you believe in archangels or souls or guides, mentors, ancestors, etc. There's so many dimensional understandings, and I like to be broad and understand a bunch of different things. And so I opened up the field to what can I learn about myself so that I can show up not kicking and screaming and trying to find a way to unload, more work on other people that I just don't want to do. I don't really want to have to work too hard for this job that I signed up for. Ooh, that's tough, man. That sucks whenever I have those minutes of pretty sure I signed up, otherwise I wouldn't be here. If I didn't want to be here, I could easily not be here. So if I'm going to stand here, then that means that I'm committed to being here, or else I probably need to go sit down and think about that really hard before I complain too much. So the last couple of days has been a battle of the wills in my own mind, and with a couple of drop-ins from outside to help me find my undivine in a minute of, are you really gonna push me? And it's annoying, it's aggravating, and it's old paradigm. However, how can I yield to this? And I kept thinking, why am I waiting? What am I doing? And kind of getting into that whole shuffle and buffle of, buffalo crap from years ago. Old paradigm, not doing that anymore. Unhooked, unleashed, and I don't do that. Jettison. So what's going on here, my friend? And I started praying hard and saying I am statements, and they can sound however they want to sound to my monkey mind. And that's just the ego battle inside me going, and say, okay, I'm going to just keep saying it because there's nobody that's going to be here to get in my way and stop me. And if there was, then they would have to go out of my space and be away from me for me to work out my own divinity. We're wrestling, pig wrestling over here, me and my ego, just step off, So it took a minute, and today really came into, all right, we're finally ready to address this next step, because I would not have been able to even approach the next step because it's a huge one for me personally. I'm super excited about it because it's a completely different lifestyle, a totally different angle, and so very unexpected from anything I ever thought that I would ever do. Of course, I never thought that I would be divorced and, on this path by now. 3 years ago, I had no idea. And now fast forward to here we are, and I have this exciting new path to step onto, and I could be way off base. I could be totally wrong and that just not work out at all. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out, because if it doesn't work out, that means that I've missed the cues altogether. However, if it does, or it doesn't, I'm listening and I'm retooling and reschooling and refiguring and rejiggering, because I have to figure it out. I have a legal process that finished up and must be out of my home right now, this residence, by May 1st. So I have until May 1st of 2021 to get my stuff down the road, up the road, wherever, or sit down in a corner and just give up. So I'm not really, real prone on the give up thing, obviously, because I'm still here. I have breath, I'm talking. Then I need to really be more about what I'm walking, which is the truth of, do you really want to be here? Because if you do, you best probably figure out how you're going to get you and your family, your 5 animals, on down the road and not here at this residence, because it's no longer where I live. It's tied up, it's already gone through, and it's legally done. So close it down, bye-bye you. And that was really chapping me. I was having some emotions about it, angry, sad, release and let go, release and let go. And that can be tough, because I've been unjustly handed this bag of garbage. It's not fair. And Nancy Kerrigan was jumping up in my face every minute for, the last 268,000 of them, that's not fair. And it's not. What would you like to do about there, Kate? Would you like to do something about it? Or did you just want to keep screaming and railing at the ethers who, can't really help on that one, because I keep shooting out a dead equation? What do you want the universe to send back to you, Catherine? Do you want the universe to send back help? Or you're not asking for it. You're stating a statement of fact and truth that it is not fair, it is true, it's not fair. And would you like to get on out of here, or just stand around not solving the problem? So stay tuned and look to see in the next couple of days about divinity and what surprises it's bringing to me, because it will be a big surprise. No matter what, if it works out the way that I think it will, that's a hot diggity dog. If it doesn't, then holy cow, then we're going to need to go whole hog in another direction, and that'll be fun too. to solve the puzzle instead of trying to figure out how I can, not do what I came here to do, which I'm still breathing. I guess I better, get busy and go do something besides stand around Nancy Kerrigan style going, it's not fair. Yep, it's not fair. And you got some skating to do. So get your skates on, boogerhead, and get ready. Go do you. So take care. Thank you for being here. Good luck and keep in touch. Bye.